painful, creaky elbows?
Yeah.
Hey, try this. If that doesn't work, maybe, just maybe, you haven't earned your back squat position. A lot of people want to jump into that low bar squat, getting that bar down here low, trying to work on those heavy poundages. But if you haven't earned it, and by earned it, I mean like being able to get in those positions effectively, there's so much pain that can happen and potential injury. So commonly is this elbow pain right in here on the inside, bicep kind of right into here. It's just like, oftentimes you may even just feel it on your shoulder day, right in here. That's that bicep tendon. We'll also get back pain a lot of times too, because it'll cause an extension right here in this position. And the reason for that is just the lack of being able to get in that position. So what happens if we're lacking the mobility, we're going to have the elbows behind us, or we're going to be cranking down really hard, putting this stress in here and through here, or compromising our position, getting in shitty form, not allowing us to lift as much weight. Or if we can't do any of that stuff, you'll end up rolled over like this. So it's just a cascade of effects. The low bar position is something that's really got to be earned. Because when we've got a bar on our back, we want to have that bar connected tight into this core. And so to do that, you need to be able to do a lat pull down with this bar, to be able to be in a position that you're right here and you can pull this to your center and engage this lat right here, this big mass, and draw it into your center and connect this bar into the core so that it's not just this, tight thing, musculature on top that's going to lose position right here and round over, right? So it's really critical to be able to have the mobility to get in that position. If we go way out here, if we go too far out, trying to get on this bar, actually Kyle, go ahead and set that up. You'll see this happen a lot of times where people have their hand on the collars or even out on the plates. And that's not a desirable position. In fact, that as soon as you get your hands off the bar, that bar has a high tendency to start wanting to roll off your back. So I'm going to go ahead and back here is time. So go ahead and take your hands onto the plate. Now this bar can spin freely. And so it sucks. That's going to make that want to come after your back. And with that big wide grip here, we're not able to really engage much power to pull that in and engage that lat effectively. So right here, we've got really weak to be able to engage this and really lock this in. So there's a lot of fixes that we want to address here. And there's a really easy test and sometimes really easy fix, which is an overhead RNT squat. So this is a quick test and oftentimes a really great warm-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to very light, barely any tension with the band here, just enough for some resistance. And you're going to get your hands up in this Y pattern. So it's not here and it's not here. This is what everybody always does with this, okay? Right there, good. Lock the elbows out, a little bit more overhead. Looks like a Y with your body right there. And this is really challenging. So right now we've got a pin. Imagine pinning this there, holding here, and now you got a squat. And every second that you do this, it's going to you're going to start drifting in. You're going to start flaring here. Your arms are going to go wider. So everyone reset and go, where am I losing? Reset. And Kyle here is sweating, not just because it's 100+ degrees in here. Boom. But this is actually really, really challenging. Let's go ahead and stop. All right. So if we're doing that and we're in, like I said, a forward position here, if we're doing it and flaring here, or any loss of that position, not able to execute a basic body weight squat, you have not earned it. Now this is a pretty easy fix too, and actually doing a few reps of these with a high level intent can really allow you to walk up and be open. So it's a really great primer because that that resisting against a band is going to get the small musculature of the back to be able to get us in position and open up. There we go. But you'll find a lot of lifters aren't doing that, and they're trying to get in a back squat position. That's our first test, fix, and warm up for this movement. Let's dive into some more. Our next exercise is see how well our scapula is gliding. So we're going to take a small band, put a knot in the middle like this. This is so we can smack ourselves in the head. Actually, it's to pin back here in the bottom of the back of the back, so we're going to see that here. Go ahead and set that up, Kyle. Boom. And now we're going to turn around to the wall, press that in there, and let's go ahead and get straight against the wall. There we go. So we want to flush, and you're going to go up and down without the band coming up. Now you can see Kyle's actually pressing into the band. So what I would want him to do is go to a seated position and take this body weight out. If you can go down onto the ground. And slide your butt up against the wall. There we go. And now wrists against the wall. And so we can see Kyle's got a little bit of work to do here. So he's flaring here. He's going to be able to keep his wrists on the wall by doing that. But let's go ahead and pin. There we go. And you can see his butt's coming off the wall because he's using that to try to push the band and keep that pinned. So if we move this butt all the way up to the wall here, we'll see a miss. And that's good to see. So we can see that. So here, out to the side, put your wrists up against the wall, and we can see that he's not able to do that. So we're just going to try to work on this, and over time get a little bit closer. So really challenging. Kyle, you got some work to do on this. So we can see a gap. We also saw his elbows in pain. What we're going to do here is we're going to look at rotation of the T-spine. So we're going to start in a half kneeling position, body right up against the wall, knee out in front, put both hands up in front of you. One hand's going to stay on the wall. We're going to keep the knee pointed forward, but we're going to rotate the upper body and look towards me, Ben, as you open and put this wrist against the wall right there. Perfect. Come back. We do a few of these. As we can see, this is probably something that Ben doesn't need to work on, but probably feels good at the same time. So the gap would be if he's not able to reach the wall or he's starting to open at the hip here to be able to get some movement in here and not just in the T-spine. So the beauty of this exercise is it's self-correcting, being on the wall. So this is our rotation. Now we're going to look at scapular glide and finish with T-spine extension. So we've looked at our mobility in the overhead position. We've looked at T-spine rotation. We've looked at scapular glide. Now we're going to look at T-spine extension. So big miss here oftentimes is people arching like this. So we want to take this pelvis, rotate that up, and we really want to take this spot right here on the chest, and imagine we're going to come up and then we're going to drive that area down to the ground. You'll have to clear just off so you're off the bench. Boom, come up. And each one you're going to find that you can go a little bit more. All right. And again, we want to make sure that we're not arching in here. This is a big fault. All right. So again, right there. And then our movement's right here. Now we can also make this more demanding and focusing on keeping the arms or the shoulders in alignment this way by grabbing a stick. This makes it significantly more challenging, but really useful. If you can't do that to start, that's okay. Usually doing this one in fairly high repetition, 10, 20 repetitions, because you're going to find in each one that you can get a little bit more open with it. And again, it's this spot right here and here, and really getting your mind right there. All right. We did all of our mobilization work. Now let's do a little strength training while we're in those positions so we can really own that. I really like the bottoms up movement. And again, we don't want to flare, so we definitely don't want to be sitting on a bench or anything. Standing and walking is actually one of the best ways to do this. You could do it with a plate as well. Boom. A lot of different ways, but getting into this overhead position, trying to walk, make sure that we've got pinned in this position and really being able to train and add some strength. Kyle has another movement that's really going to address it. It's really cool as well. I've got a large roller, so much larger than a standard foam roller. This one's from AccuMobility, and Kyle's going to do a Z press on this. There we go. So you can see we're adding some load, moving through a range of motion that's really getting us in that open position. I think based on what we saw on the wall angel, that Kyle could even do a little bit better with a few weeks of really working through these drills. But this right here really shows what we're going after with the Z press. Anything that you want to add, Kyle?
No, stay light. It doesn't need to be heavy.
Yep.
It's going to pull you open pretty intensely.
Yep. All right, there you go. Earn that low bar back squat position. Don't just go in there. We've done our movement drills. Kyle's going to get under the bar. He's got it in a width about that of a lat pull down. He's going to stand up. We're in this low bar position. As he comes out, he's not pushing up on the bar. He should be comfortable enough with his mobility that he's actually doing a lat pull down where he's drawing this in. So the elbows, we're not rotating anymore. We're in a position that now we're pulling in. So they're going to be slightly behind you, but that is right it. So now we're going to take those, draw them to center, and when we do that, no extension happens. So we need to make sure that we've braced, created that intra-abdominal pressure first so that we don't give when we really cue those lats in. But now we've got this really great position. We're drawing and pulling the bar to our center. Solid core. We're going to squat. Boom. There we go.